Let's take you here now. Police Minister Bheki Cele assured South Africans of the SAPS's preparedness as he kicked off the countrywide South African Police Service festive season inspection tour on Monday. The South African Police Service launched the National Safer Festive Season operations back in October 2021 to ensure the safety of all over the holiday period. Now, let's discuss this and other crime-related stories. We're now joined via Zoom by anti-crime activist Yusuf Abramjee. Yusuf, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Now, is South Africa winning the war against crime, considering the fact that the country between July to September recorded 5,876 murders, and also on a daily basis, Yusuf, we're just bombarded with crime story after crime story?
Good afternoon, Unati. Your last 5 stories were all crime related. That says it all. Let's just take today. 6 people gunned down in the south of Durban. We had a brazen highway robbery at the Galulus interchange. The video went viral just this morning. We had a number of courier vans being attacked. Cash in transit robberies are becoming a daily occurrence. So yes, it's crime after crime after crime. Do the police have a grip on the situation? Clearly not. We know that in the run-up to the festive season, we normally have an increase in the levels of crime, especially robberies at shopping malls, jewelry stores, clothing stores, cell phone stores are being robbed. The last few weeks, we've seen dramatic increases again in courier vans being robbed across South Africa, Gauteng being the hotspot. We've seen a number of cash-in-transit robberies in Diepsloot today again, a number of incidents last week, again becoming a daily occurrence. So while the minister and the police leadership are launching the high visibility festive season campaign, a lot of work still needs to be done. We don't need talk, we need action, Unati.
Now, another thing that we've been seeing on a daily basis, and of course was made more prominent by the latest incidents in Limpopo, are kidnappings. Are we seeing a spike in kidnappings, taking into account that 2,000 kidnapping cases were opened between July and September of 2021? And of course, what's making these numbers even more, serious and more personal is that now we're seeing the faces behind some of these numbers. 4 children kidnapped from one family, 1 child kidnapped outside of school in Gauteng, and so on and so on.
Indeed, the kidnappings have made the headlines, not only locally, throughout the world. We know that the crime statistics released by the minister a few weeks ago showed that there were at least 2,000 incidents over a 3-month period. Yes, the majority were people taken hostage during hijackings, which is a problem on its own. But there were at least 54 incidents of people being kidnapped for ransom. Now, when we talk of ransom kidnappings, Unati, this is becoming a growing problem. I'm on record as saying repeatedly that corrupt police officials aiding and abetting some of these syndicates is a problem, including Metro cops. We've seen a Metro police officer arrested just the other day in Benoni for allegedly being part of a kidnapping group. We've seen some arrests being made, but these are more the so-called copycat, the smaller gangs. The big ones are still on the prowl. We've seen no arrest for the high-profile Morty case in Polokwane. Now, we know that the police are beefing up their kidnapping task team. We know that some progress has been made, but a lot of work still lies ahead. I've also said that the rotten guys who are working in cahoots with these gangs are the problem. And another worrying element for me, Unati, are security companies or people who claim to be private investigators, taking retainers and going to the families of the victims, charging anything from 100,000 rand to 500,000 rand to aid these families, and then not delivering on the mandates. That is a worry on its own. On the other hand, we have 1 or 2 good security companies that are helping the families. They are not charging it, they're doing it as community service. We need to support them. But the more important part is we need to get rid of the corrupt elements within the kidnapping task team, broader within the South African Police Service, and also break the backbone of these syndicates. But the kidnapping situation is worrying. Let's not forget 11-year-old Mayfair girl. She was taken almost 4 weeks ago outside her school in Mayfair. She is still missing. So we still have 1 or 2 active cases at the moment.
Now, we're heading to the festive season. We've always been warned about this time, ranging from petty theft right up to the serious crime that we've just been speaking about. And just, at the back of you saying that, is the SAPS really prepared, for fighting crime in this country? And we know with the staggering numbers that are increasing year in, year out, the answer is probably not. So how do people start to protect themselves? I mean, you give daily accounts of people who are either hijacked in broad daylight on the highway, or right in front of a supermarket, or in front of their homes. What are some of the tips that you can give people in order for them to arm themselves and protect themselves, and also prevent a more serious incident like murder?
Very, very important question, Unati, and I think our safety is paramount. Let's not forget the police are hopelessly under-resourced. We want police visibility, but they simply don't have the men and women in blue to be at every street corner. We know that the minister has given a directive. He wants the blue lights on. That's good, but is it good enough? I would imagine not. We need to do much more. There needs to be a partnership between the communities and the South African Police Service. I'm delighted that Business Leadership South Africa, Business Against Crime, have formed a partnership with the South African Police Service called the Eyes and the Ears campaign, the E2 campaign. We have to be the eyes and ears. We know they have a number of private helicopters in the air helping the police. We need to support those initiatives, and we have to become the eyes and the ears for the police service. As the first vice president of Crime Stoppers International, I always say, someone, somewhere, somehow knows who's involved in crime. Do your civic duty, do your moral duty, blow the whistle on crime, and contact Crime Stop with your anonymous tip-off. On a personal level, we are seeing cell phone snatching happening almost on a daily basis, various other crimes. Make sure, for example, that when you're out in a public place, especially a restaurant, a coffee shop, in a shopping mall, hide your valuables. Don't try not to talk on your cell phone while you're walking or you're sitting in a restaurant. These people simply come, they grab it, they're into a waiting car and they're gone. We know that bank followings is a problem. Do not transport and do not carry large sums of cash, especially business people when you pay your wages or your salaries every month. We know that these people have inside information, they follow you from a bank, so be very careful. When it comes to smash and grabs, the same old issue. Do not talk on your cell phone, keep your bag away, keep it out of sight, lock it in the boot. And even, for example, when you're parking your car jamming is rife. Make sure that you physically check the doors and make sure that your doors are locked, because we know these people use the jamming devices, and then when you leave, they open the door and make off your laptop, your other possessions. Hijackings are on the increase, especially in Gauteng. Make sure that you are situationally aware. When you arrive home, when you leave home, make sure that no one is following you. So these are some of the very basic things that we need to do. We know people are going on holiday. When you go away, make sure that your house is locked. If you have an alarm activated, if you have the beams in your yard activated, and also keep your lights on with a daytime switch and a nighttime switch to make sure that, for example, in the day, your lights are not on, because that is simply an invitation to the burglars to say there's no one at home, come into the house and take whatever you want to. So these are some of the basic safety tips that we need to take into account each and every day.
Yusuf, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We really do appreciate those tips. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nati.
Yusuf Abramjee, anti-crime activist.